Gunfire tore through the quiet Texas morning like a thunderclap, shattering the calm of the rural countryside, and in an instant the stillness around the Mount Carmel center turned into chaos. Federal agents ducked behind vehicles, windows burst apart in sharp, glittering explosions. Inside the compound, men scrambled for cover as children cried and women screamed. Someone shouted, "They're here," and another voice answered, "Hold your position." Dust hung in the air, smoke curled up from the ground, and the first shots of what would become one of the deadliest standoffs in modern American history echoed across the fields outside Waco. The Branch Davidians had lived in isolation for years, tucked away from the outside world, bound by strict belief and devotion to their leader, David Koresh. He was a man with intense eyes and a soft but commanding voice, someone who spoke of prophecy as if it were fact and destiny as if he could shape it with his words. And prepared for a final stand that they believed was written in the Bible itself. Outside the compound, suspicion grew quietly but steadily. Neighbors had noticed deliveries of large wooden crates, the kind that seemed far too heavy for simple farming equipment. Gun enthusiasts around Waco whispered about the amount of firepower building up behind those walls. Local law enforcement passed tips to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. The ATF began watching. They ran surveillance, took photographs from a distance, pieced together reports from informants. The picture forming in federal offices in Dallas and Washington was unsettling. Agents debated what it all meant late into the night, staring at grainy images pinned on corkboards and reports stacked on metal desks under buzzing fluorescent lights. A show of force, an arrest, a secured stash of illegal weapons. That was the official vision. But the plan leaked. Whether through a careless tip or quiet word of mouth in the small community is still argued to this day. By the time the ATF convoy rolled down the narrow road toward Mount Carmel, the Branch Davidians were already waiting. As agents approached the front entrance, weapons drawn, courageous followers stared back through windows and gaps in the walls. Nervous hands gripped rifles. Someone inside called out, "They're not here to talk." A voice from the outside shouted, "This is the ATF, come out with your hands up." Then the gunfire started. Within seconds, a fierce exchange erupted. Bullets ripped through doors and walls. Agents fell to the ground. Shouts faded into cries of pain. Inside, people scrambled as plaster rained down, furniture splintered, and the air filled with choking smoke. 4 ATF agents were killed that morning. Several Branch Davidians also lost their lives. The raid collapsed into a nightmare that would flash across national television before the day was over. News helicopters circled above the compound. Reporters spoke into microphones with urgency as smoke still hovered over the wounded building. America watched in disbelief as the scene unfolded live. Flames climbed walls and devoured wooden beams with terrifying speed. Outside, agents watched in shock as smoke turned black and flames erupted from multiple points. The entire compound became an inferno in minutes. Heat twisted metal. The roof collapsed in on itself. The sound of crackling fire mixed with distant screams and shouted orders. No one moved close fast enough. The fire was unstoppable. To some, he was a dangerous manipulator who had led his people to destruction. And the unanswered question that still lingers in the silence long after the smoke has cleared.